Egbers lost her 15-year-old son Grant to suicide in 2015, and while working through her grief, Diane recognized a disconnect when it comes to teen mental health care, and she vowed to do something about it.
She's been instrumental in creating Grant Us Hope to implement suicide prevention and mental wellness programs this fall in local schools. And Diane is here with Dr. Keith Kline, Executive Director of Grant Us Hope and a former superintendent of the West Clermont Schools. Thank you both so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Diane, I mentioned this during the commercial break. A tragedy that I can't even fathom. So when you have a pain like that and you want to turn it into helping other people, how did you get to that place where you were able to find that strength?
Sure. First, thanks for having us. We appreciate it. Yesterday marked the 3.5-year anniversary of losing our son Grant, and the only way to redeem that kind of suffering is to put it to good use in the world. Mm-hmm. And so our care and desire for every student to get the help they need when they're suffering with mental health, every school to be surrounded by a community of support, and especially for parents. Yeah. You know, our desire is really to bring a best-in-class program to the greater Cincinnati region and eventually Ohio, because that is the only way to step forward.
So schools are really an easy way to reach a lot of families. How did you get from I want to help to a specific program to take into schools, Diane?
We were searching for a best practice. What had happened is, in our son's case, his friends knew months before, we as a family knew. And so much of the stigma with mental health is that, kids, not only do they suffer in silence typically, but they also keep this conversation among friends. And so we have to break that stigma of silence and help kids to understand that adults are the pathway to real help.
Thanks.
And
so that peer group is just so powerful when they're that age.
It is. It is, and it's no fault or reflection on kids. It's really just changing the culture.
And so this is about training kids, right? Keith, tell us about how you're taking this training to kids so that they can be the people on the ground that are recognizing this and getting help for
Absolutely.
their peers.
After 34 years of working with kids, I have tremendous faith in their ability to make a difference. And so Hope Squad, and by implementing that in schools, gives them the training that they need to be able to sit down with maybe a student that they don't know, a peer in their school, and have a conversation about what's going on with you, and I'm here to help, and move them towards an adult who can really dive in and try to address the issues that they're facing. So, again, the students are talking about this anyhow. How do we arm them with information so that they can actually help move a student that's in crisis to the help that they need before the student really develops the issues.
And there are some other issues that come up as a result of these Hope Squads too, talking about bullying and talking about isolation, those kinds of things, and kids can intervene in those circumstances as well.
Absolutely, and the change of the culture that Diane spoke about is so important, and what we know is after 3 years or so of developing these students who have the information and are reaching out to others, the culture of schools change. And we've seen that in Utah where the program first got started, and it changes the schools into a more caring, more compassionate, more connected place where kids are there to help each other move through adolescence. And we all know adolescence can be a real struggle. And so how do we arm those kids to help their peers to move through the high school years successfully and be set for their future?
And I know this is an ongoing training with the kids. What are some of the concrete results you've seen in the short amount of time this has been taking place?
So the national research from a Hope Squad and Dr. Hudnall that leads that is that schools that have a Hope Squad have a 25% rate of help seeking from adults that schools that do not have Hope Squad don't have. And so we see a 25% increase in help-seeking behavior. In Utah, the first 9 years of the program, there was not a suicide in the schools where Hope Squad existed. And so, it's near 400 schools across the nation, Canada, Australia, Spain. And so it's the only evidence-based prevention and intervention program of its kind because it has a consistent 3-year curriculum. And it really is, not only is the outcome a culture change, but it was developed by an educator, and the curriculum is excellent, really helps the lead advisor in a school to take the kids through an education process that then enables them to reach out to other students to have, you know, an impact on kids that are struggling and the most vulnerable.
Such an important program, important thing you're doing. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank
We'll get
you.
more information
Thank you.
on our website, local12.com. Okay, thank you.